What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to J Nix Does Magic and Stuff. I am your editor, Joe, and I want to welcome you to today's episode. We are going over the Week 1 Aetherdrift spoilers, and that is excluding Commander, including that cute little fuzzy guy that everybody hates. And then, in addition to that, we are going to dive into Aetherspark thoughts and opinions, and you'll find out mine if you listen further into the video. And then on top of that, I also wanted to say that the music in this video is called Making Clouds, and it's by Beat Mechanic, and it's supplied by Free Music Archive. So if you like the music that you're hearing in the background, be sure to go and check it out on Free Music Archive. Now, any further, let's get into it. First one is March of the World Ooze. Now, everybody has been going crazy over this card, which I completely understand. 3 green enchantment. Creatures you control have a base power and toughness of 6/6 and are oozes in addition to other types. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, create a 3/3 green elephant creature token. What's that mean? There were a lot of words on that card. What does that even mean? Okay, as long as this is on the battlefield, everything you control is a 6/6 and an ooze. That's about it. Oh, and you know, if somebody plays an instant or something like that, you know, just cast a spell for whatever reason on another player's turn, you get a 3/3 elephant creature token that may or may not, it definitely does, turns into a 6/6 ooze when it hits the battlefield, because you have March of the World Ooze on the battlefield. Yeah, it's a pretty sick card. Limited, probably not the biggest heater. Commander, for sure. It's going to be a great card. Throw it into really any deck that runs green and have fun with it. See how it works for your deck, and you know, it's a news party. Go crazy. March of the World Ooze, everyone. Valor's flagship. Flying, first strike, lifelink. It's 4 white. Crew 3. Cycle, X. 2 and a white. And when you cycle this card, create X 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this token saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles as though it had power were 2 greater. So that pilot, it's a 1/1, cruise like a 3/1. If we're being honest, I don't think there's a lot of good places for this card necessarily. Maybe in like artifact vehicle decks where you can, you know, cycle this card away, bring it back at some point soon after that, and then just go ahead and crew it, because it's only crew 3, so one of those pilots that you create is going to pay off for you. Probably not going to do anything for you in a limited or you know, format necessarily. Maybe creates a bunch of pilots for you and you feel good about that, but you're also not going to have a ton of mana to sink into this, because you don't get a, you know, 15 turn game. I don't know, a long limited game is like 10 turns, right? So yeah, it's very situational, but thought it was just an interesting card with interesting mechanic, so wanted to throw it in here. Next one, Demonic Junker. This card's actually pretty sick. I like it a lot. All right, bear with me. 6 and a black. Okay, but affinity for artifacts. So this spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Us that have played with affinity cards, affinity for artifact cards before, understand this can be a pretty strong card. You have an artifact, it automatically gets cheaper. I think in this set, with various ways to create artifacts and vehicles being artifacts themselves, I don't think this is going to be super hard to get out and utilize. And then I haven't even talked about the second part, right? So when this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. If a creature you controlled was destroyed this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this vehicle. And it's a crew too. Seems like kind of cheap creature, vehicle, artifact removal. Yeah, it's a 4/3. But in the right deck, I think it just goes insane. Especially a deck that is worried about generating a ton of artifacts. Yeah, it happens. So, Demonic Junker. Alright, next one. Oldie but a goodie. Well, not the card itself, but the character within the universe, right? Aetherdrift, Godseeker. Indestructible, haste, start your engines. We haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about the new mechanics yet. So, start your engines. If you have no speed, and there will be a little card that has 1, 2, 3, and then you flip it over and it says max speed. So you put a some sort of marker on the little token to keep track of your speed. And it's not a counter, so you can't proliferate it or anything like that. It's like the ring tempts you, more something like that than anything else. So if you have no speed, it starts at 1. Okay, have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. So, in commander decks, if you can get a card out and have a couple cards that have start your engine, I think this could be a really strong thing that you could really abuse and take advantage of. Especially with cards, like, let's see, Perforos is a great one, Warstorm Surge, Impact Tremors. Things like that all you have to do is cast a creature to increase your speed. That's going to work great. I want to see how it's going to work in a limited format first. I want to see all the cards and see if we have an actual, lack of a better term, engine to get damage in somewhat efficiently in order to creep up our speed to make this work better. I think there's some things out there. Don't know if we have necessarily enough, but I would love to be wrong. I love being wrong, honestly. Tell me I'm wrong all the time. In addition to start your engines, Aetherdrift Godseeker has 1 tap. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. And Aetherdrift can't block or attack unless you have max speed. So, once you get up to 4 speed, Aetherdrift can go crazy. And Aetherdrift is a 5/3. So, I don't necessarily... I think Aetherdrift is a good enabler for start your engines, right? Obviously goofy because I just said, like, I don't know if there's a ton of enablement for it, but Aetherdrift itself, 1 and tap, target creature power 2 or less is unblockable. So Aetherdrift comes in, start your engine, speed is at 1. Something pings it on that turn, something pings your opponent, or you're able to attack and get damage in, Max speed goes to 2 instantly on that turn. Right? The first turn that you started your engine, you're already revving that engine up. And then the next turn, Aetherdrift makes one of them unblockable if their power is 2 or less. You're at 3 already. The turn after that, 4, you do the same thing. Aetherdrift now can block and attack. This is where I'm saying I think it's a little slow and limited, because you have to, at its fastest, you have to wait 3 turns in order to make it work. But and that can be a lot in like a pre-release draft, you know, maybe even standard to some extent format. But in Commander, I mean, 3 turns is whatever, right? Especially if it's your 2-drop and you play it on turn 2, or better yet, play it on turn 1 somehow. Great. Yeah, so I'm interested to see where this all goes. I'm interested to see where Aetherdrift fits in certain decks with this. You know, probably very aggro-y, maybe like Boros, or throw into I don't know, some sort of red beater deck, right? So that is Aetherdrift. That is Start Your Engines. Next card. Oh, the bestest boy, the district mascot. A forest. It's a dog mount. This creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. 1 in a green, remove 2 +1/+1 counters from this creature, destroy target artifact. Whenever a creature attacks while saddled, whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Saddle 1 comes in as a 0/0, but you know it gets a counter right away, so it's a 1/1. Yeah. Could really go crazy in like decks that really care about +1/+1 counters and can just pump them out like crazy. Could be really interesting to see where this goes. I mean, you got doubling season in standard, which admittedly kind of slow, but doubling season, this guy's out, it gets saddled, attacks, you now instantly have 3 counters on it. After you attack, you can remove 2 of those counters, destroy an artifact. Kind of cool. I like it. Commander, I think it fills a goofy spot in those Commander decks that care about counters. Alright, next one. Count on Luck. Red. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Yeah, I am not super familiar, once again, admittedly, with a lot of other formats, especially like, you know, it's been a long time since I've done pre-release. I played Standard a little bit, very long time ago, talking like 2015, 2016, and then I'm mainly a Commander player. Commander, not bad. Gives you 1 more card in your hand, essentially. But yeah, I don't know if you wanna. Maybe it is good to play this like on turn 3, or if you can get it out a little earlier on like turn 2, because it gives you 1 card up. You're on your opponent essentially for the rest of the game, unless they remove this. Yeah, I like it. I think it's interesting. I want to see where it falls in. Repurposing Bay. Next card, 2 in a blue. Artifact. 2 tap. Sacrifice another artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1+ the sacrificed artifact's mana value. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Sick card. Like it a lot. Especially in Commander. Oh, yeah. Actually, here you go. the comment at the bottom here. Oh, it's Birthing Pod. It's just Birthing Pod, but for artifacts. Yeah, not wrong. Hey, I'm gonna blow that thing up. I'm gonna get something that costs just one higher than it. I'm gonna bring it in. Let's have a party. Yeah. I think it's cool. Really great card in Commander. Probably decent in more limited formats. Especially if you have, you know, some big card, some big artifact that's going to be your finisher or part of your finisher combo. So, yep. Here's another one. Aether Siphon. 1 blue artifact. Start your engines. We talked about that. Tap, or 2 in tap. Draw a card. Sweet. You just have to do that like forever. And like drawing a card is typically, you know, I think it's been, you know, 2 mana to draw a card is pretty standard, right? But about this card, max speed. So when you're at 4 speed, whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. Not bad. I think it's really good in mill decks, obviously. I think it's really good in... I think it can be really good in Commander, given the right deck. Probably too slow for limited play. I know, I've been saying that nonstop, but that's where I'm at. And maybe, you know, I just think limited is super fast. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I want limited to be way faster than it actually is. Next card, Grease Wrench Goblin. Exhaust. Here's a new one. Alright. Activate each exhaust ability only once. Not once per turn. You can only do it once. Now, if you can blink the card, you can activate it more times than just the single time, because it's a different instance of itself. So, Grease Wrench Goblin is red. Goblin Artificer, exhaust like I said. 2 red, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Comes in as a 2/1, and then can go up to a 3/2. Yeah, it's probably not bad. Probably, you know, I'll say it probably works better in limited than it does in Commander. I just don't think you care that much about this in Commander. Drawing cards is sweet. Putting counters on things is sweet. But the whole exhaust effect of it, doesn't really do it. For me, at least. I think having the ability to bring it in super cheap, maybe get in like a hit or 2, then kind of sculpt your hand in the way that you want it to be. Draw more cards, beef this guy up, make him relevant for another turn or 2, and getting cards in your graveyard, not necessarily the worst thing in this set. So yeah, I think in limited play, here you go, it's better in limited than it will ever be in Commander. I said it. I said the thing I haven't said all video. Next card, Momentum Breaker. 1 in a black enchantment. Start your engines. When this enchantment enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature or vehicle of their choice. Each opponent who can't discards a card. 2, sacrifice this enchantment. You gain life equal to your speed. Yeah, don't think it's that bad. Honestly, I think any format can, you know, limited or Commander can definitely benefit from it. Pay 2. Worst case, it starts your engine, and you come in. They each opponent sacrifices a creature or vehicle, and then you can blow this up and gain, you know, 4 life for only 2. Yeah, I think that works. That works pretty well across the board. Obviously, it's way better in Commander, where you can blow up more things. In limited play, 4 to kill something, start your mechanic, and gain 4 life, maybe. I think that's more than fine. I think it's really good in that situation. Marauding Mako, red. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, put that many counters on this creature. And then it also has cycling too, and it's a 1/1 uncommon. I think the card's pretty good. I think there's places in Commander where you can use this. I think in Limited it's kind of great, especially if you run like a little cycling deck. Just this creature gets insane. He gets big and beefy. Worst case, you know, you're at the point of the game, you draw him, you're like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. All right, pay 2, discard that card, throw it in your graveyard, draw yourself a brand new one, see if you find that. Yeah. I think it has really good utility for making itself relevant at any point in time during the game. So, Marauding Mako, like it. Hour of Victory. Okay. Amonkhet team just chilling at the winner's circle, holding the Aetherspark. 2 and a black enchantment. Start your engines. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. At max speed, 1 and a black. Sacrifice this enchantment, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. So cool. So cool. I mean, might be alright in Limited. 5 to get a creature and search for any card in your deck at sorcery speed, and also starts your engines. I think it's pretty good. I think it gives you enough value for 5 that you feel okay. Depending on where you're at in your game, I mean, you could just go and get your finisher, or you could get something that like really kickstarts your deck if you're a little bit behind. I do like that you search your library for a card, not like a specific one, and you have to reveal it. A little bit more mystery behind it. I think there's good ways to use this. Commander, I think this works great in zombie decks, token decks. Black loves tutoring out things. Yes, there's better ones like Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Tutor. None of those are going to give you a zombie. None of those are going to start your engine if you care about it. Canyon Vaulter. 1 and a plane. So, what we have here, whenever creature saddles a mount or cruise a vehicle during your main phase, that mount and vehicle gains flying until the end of turn. I'm going to say it. I think in pre-release, this card might go crazy. Draft, maybe still might go crazy if you can get enough vehicles or mounts. Commander, Standard, maybe. If there's a good vehicle deck that comes out of this set. But yeah, that's where I'm living. Alright, Unswerving Sloth. 3, plain. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, it gains indestructible until the end of turn. Also, untap all creatures you control. That's kind of cool. Next card, Goblin Surveyor. 2 and a red. Trample. Start your engines at max speed. 3. Exile this card from your graveyard. Draw a card. 3/2. I think it's probably pretty good in Limited. Potentially. Commander doesn't have enough heat. I think it's a good way to use your graveyard to get value. Now, yeah, you probably unless you have a way to discard it. You got 6 invested in it to exile it and draw a card. I guess if you have any mana lying around, go ahead, jump into it. Otherwise, maybe it's too slow. Maybe. Alright, everybody's favorite little munchkin. Loot, the Pathfinder. 2, green, blue, red. Double strike, vigilance, haste. Has 3 exhaust abilities, which is something that I really like about it. Green, tap, add 3 of any one color. It's one of them. Blue, tap, draw 3 cards. Sick. Red, tap, loot deals 3 damage to any target. Woo! 2/4. I really like this card. I really, really like this card. I am interested to see where he fits in. If you can find a deck that actually utilizes these colors and blinking things enough. I mean, blue has a lot of blink potential. I wish there was white in there too, but like, my God, if you can just keep going with the draw 3 cards, great. If you can find a way to beef them up with double strike, vigilance, and haste, wow. Like, I don't know. I'm a lot higher on this card than I feel like most other people are. Yeah, loot, good card. Great in Commander. 3 colors in limited. I'm not sure. Maybe you could, be like green, red, and splash blue. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of seems hard to pull off in other formats other than Commander. All right, Sita Varma, Mass Racer. Exhaust ability, X, green, green, blue. Put X +1/+1 counters on Sita Varma. Then you may have the base power and toughness of each other creature you control become equal to Sita Varma's power until the end of turn. Yeah, it's fine. Seems like a lot of mana investment to maybe turn it into a 3/4 alone. And then, your creatures all become 3/4s and only until the end of turn. I don't know. Kind of feels too slow across the board. There's probably a spot in Commander for this card, but yeah, it's probably not going to make its way in really any of my decks. Being honest, I wanted to throw in some Gear Hulks. So we have, first off, Briarwood Gear Hulk. 2, red, red, green, green. Vigilance Menace. When this creature enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2. Gain Vigilance and Menace until the end of turn. Damage cannot be prevented this turn. It's a 7/7. I like that when he comes in, he kind of shares his wealth of Vigilance and Menace and gives +2/+2. Limited, I think it's a finisher, really. Real big finisher in like a red-green deck. Commander, I think it comes in and can do all right for you. Obviously, it's not going to be closing out games, but if you're playing against a deck that might have some sort of damage prevention mechanic baked in that you can't get around, this card will do it for you. Build up your board, be like, oh well, I don't know what to do, can't make anything work, you're just so tough. Play this one, smack them in the head, say good game, shake on it, walk out of there like the most important man alive, right? So that is Briarwood Gear Hulk. Alright, let's go to the Oil Deep Gear Hulk. Blue, blue, black, black, brother. Lifelink, Ward 1. When this creature enters, look at target player's hand. Interesting mechanic that I actually like using, especially in limited. You may choose a card from it. If you do, that player discards that card, then draws a card. Okay. And it's a 4/4. I think this has places where it can be good for you. I don't think it's necessarily good for its enter ability. 100%. I mean, yeah, if you have information on what somebody drew, cool, you can go in, take care of it. Hopefully they don't draw anything better. Otherwise, lifelink 4/4 for 4. Next, our third and final Gear Hulk, Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Green, white, first strike, trample. When this creature enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifacts. Up to 2 artifact, creature, and or enchantment cards. With mana value 1 or less, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Oh. Okay. It's a 4/4. Commander, I think, yeah, you probably have a couple cards in there that are 1 cost, right? That you want to get out to add value to your board state. I mean, Soul Ring, easiest one to think of. You know, maybe you grab Authority of the Councils, maybe even like a Llanowar Elves, if you don't have it out. I'm just trying to think of 1 cost or less that you bring out. Yeah, you know, I think there's definitely a good spot for it in Commander to make this work. I additionally think that in pre-release, if you have a couple 1-drops in your deck, this can definitely work. I don't think it exists much else. There might be some weird areas in Modern where you're pulling out, you know, I don't know, Lotus Petal? I think that's legal still, right? 0 cost? Yeah. What is it? Vintage that still has Jeweled Lotus? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it has a place. I don't think it's as widely needed in most cases as it assumes off the first rip. No, that's gross. I'm not talking about that. Ew. I'm not saying those words. You can't make me. Alright, next one. The Aetherspark. Yeah, Aetherspark. Interesting. First equipment planeswalker that, you know, we have in all of Magic. I think it's a really interesting, refreshing way to go with this. Here we go. It's 4 cost. As long as the Aetherspark is attached to a creature, the Aetherspark can't be attacked and has, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage during your turn, you may put that many loyalty counters on the Aetherspark. Okay. Alright. Attach the Aetherspark. Well, this is +1. Attach the Aetherspark to up to 1 target creature you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. -5, draw 2. -10, add 10 mana of any 1 color. Yeah. Oh man. I really want this card to be sick. Like, I want this. Oh, ooh, this card could be so cool. Shoot, I'm just thinking of Prosh. I have a Prosh deck. Prosh is on the battlefield. Pay 4 for Aetherspark. +1. Attach it to Prosh. Prosh instantly becomes a 6/6. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to attack, I'm going all out. So let's say we blow up 6 kobolds. So he's a 12/6 Proshes, I swing in, I deal damage, I get 12 counters, 12 loyalty counters. Blech. Gross. And they can't attack, oh my gosh, okay. They can't attack the Aetherspark because it's attached to a creature, okay? And the thing, and I'll talk about my decks, you know, in another video, when there's maybe a lull between some content, or if I feel like throwing something out in the midweek. Yeah, so they can't kill up the Aetherspark. They have to kill Prosh to kill the Aetherspark, so I don't get 10 of any one color of mana. I don't think in all decks this card goes crazy. I think it can go crazy in a lot of decks. I think it can. I actually was coming into this thinking, yeah, Aetherspark's mid. Aetherspark's fine. It's whatever. But now I'm kind of like, ooh, like it's actually good. Yeah, I think it's just a great card. In Commander, it gives me giddy. And I love that. I love that card so much. It might be fine. You know, if you draft it, yeah, great. If you pull it out of your pre-release pack, awesome. I don't think you're putting... Maybe you put 1 or 2 in like a standard-ish, modern-ish deck. Something like that. Best case, you're creating 10 mana each turn. Worst case, you're drawing 2 cards every turn. Yeah. Maybe it's a good card. Maybe it's a real good card, actually. Alright. Jury's still out on that. We'll see. Lifecrafter Engine. 3, Artifact Vehicle. As this vehicle enters, choose a creature type. Vehicle creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. Each creature you control of chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. Crew 3, it's a 4/4. Could be pretty cool. I don't even think you necessarily need it in a vehicle deck to make it work. Like, if anything else, it's just a lord. It's a typo lord for like any deck. You can definitely crew it and attack as a 4/4, or you can also just let it sit on the field and let it act as just like a static artifact. Yeah, actually might not be a bad card. Commander, obviously pretty good because you can do typo stuff. Market Back Walker XX. This creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. 4, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. Great draw engine, love it. Might be a little rough to get going in limited. If you find yourself with extra mana lying around in, you know, 2s, yeah, sure, could work. 2 to draw a card if it dies, great. 4 to draw a card, draw 2 cards, great. Like I said before, 2 mana to draw a card seems sweet. That's kind of the sweet spot. Sorry. That's kind of the sweet spot that you want to be in. 4 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on this. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. If you got it up front, great. If you don't and you have it on the back end, also fine, right? Probably works better in Commander. I'm thinking cards like, what is it? Walking Ballista had its time to shine for a while there. Probably sits somewhere in there, but also gives any color a really interesting, beefy draw engine at some point. Alright, Maraganda Raceway. It's a land. Start your engine. Tap, add 1 colorless. Max speed. It's a Soul Ring. Yeah, doesn't enter tapped either. So, think that could be real good. Next card, Amonkhet Raceway. Land, start your engines, believe it or not. Tap and add 1 colorless, believe it or not. Max speed does something, believe it or not. And that something is tap target creature gains, tap the land, target creature gains haste until end of turn. Awesome. I like it. And you don't have to pay into it. So yeah, I think that's real sweet too. Aetherspark Raceway. Start your engines. Once again, believe it or not. Tap, add one colorless. Once again, believe it or not. And there is, you'll never guess it, a max speed ability on this. 3, tap, discard a card, draw a card. You don't burn a spell from doing that. You don't burn the land from doing that, like you know, cycling wise. I don't think it's that bad. I think the other two are just a lot better. But if you are looking to use any reanimator effects, or just for any reason get cards into your bin, yeah, this card looks great. Chrome Mox, 0 cost artifact. Imprint. When this artifact enters, you may exile a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand. You can tap Chrome Mox, add one of any of the exiled cards' colors. So, I mean, Moxes are just good in general. Our green-white Gear Hulk, believe it or not, can get a little Chrome Mox for you. So that's that is my that's my rundown on all of these cards that I wanted to talk about in the main set. Let me know what you think I might have missed. Let me know if there's something that I was too high on that maybe I got wrong. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Don't forget, whether you liked or disliked what you heard in this video you just watched, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video on YouTube. I am going to be doing some live streams every Saturday, if possible, on YouTube and Twitch. There will also be recordings that are released throughout the week, so keep an eye out for both of those things. And once again, thank you so much.